Hello, class and professor. I'm Tiara. Today I want to discuss my article, which is from the Wall Street Journal. It's entitled XPO Unit Faces Suit in California over allegedly misclassifying drivers. So, what my article is about is a trucking company and its subsidiary companies is actually being sued in a class action suit due to their practices that they use to try to cut costs and maximize their profits. So essentially, what's happening is the company XPO and its subsidiary companies, which are smaller companies that operate under their umbrella in other locations in California, they hire independent contractors, but actually the conditions of their employment would classify them as employees. But the drivers are actually being denied the benefits that they should be given as an employee. So the employer is taking full advantage of the driver by having them on certain schedules that accommodate their loads, as well as not paying them for their breaks, like in between meals, not accounting for hours worked that they don't receive wages, like waiting in between loads and load time. That's not included for them as independent drivers, but they're receiving the benefit of them being an employee by putting all these restrictions on them. Like I mentioned, the schedules, and they also subject them to drug testing and alcohol testing, as well as mandatory inspections. Now, I'm not a driver myself, but I do independent work, so I can understand the discrepancy when it comes to benefits as far as who's paying, who's responsible. But ultimately, that is decided based on, uh, how taxes are paid and claimed, and the relationship between the employee or said independent contractor and their employer. So essentially, three drivers are actually suing the company, but that is what prompted the action lawsuit against them, because they've had a lot of these other similar situations with their smaller companies in other areas of California for these violations, and those are still pending as well. So, Lord, on behalf of the drivers, they want to prove that they are employees of the company, that they are, in fact, not independent contractors, but that they are employees. But when it comes to paying them health care benefits and workers' compensation benefits, they are not, and being paid for their meal breaks as well as lunch breaks, that they are not being compensated as an employee. But like I said earlier, the company is reaping full benefits of treating them like an employee. But the IRS states, as I cited in my article, that that the relationship is decided based on how the employee is treated. So according to them, if the employee is even if the employee is free of action, if they are told what to do and how the manner is to be conducted, that they are classified as an employee. So I'm just going to read from the website, the IRS website. It says, under common law rules, anyone who performs services for you is your employee. if you can control what will be done and how it will be done. This is so when you give the employee freedom. This is even so when you give the employee freedom of action. What matters is that you have the right to control the details of how the services are performed. So I just read that quote to make it clear that I guess I kind of do side with the drivers in the sense that when you're subjecting them to these, these mandatory tests, because as an independent contractor, you already have your driver's license and, anything associated through the state to operate as a truck driver. And I would assume they're providing their own trucks as well. So they're independent contractor in that sense. But when you start adding on more practices to the job description, such as the mandatory drug testing and the alcohol testing, as well as the truck inspections, then those actions from the employer, which is what they're requesting of this now employee, would classify them as an employee and not an independent contractor. So denying them benefits is a violation of California labor law code because they are trying to control what will be done as far as the scheduling and how it will be done with the car inspections and the random drug testing. So in summary, they are actively being sued. And once again, this is an article from the Wall Street Journal.